Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. City Skylines Part 7, I hope. Flying trucks! That's the least of our problems here. I'm so sorry to have to report this, and I know a lot of you have given up. But yeah, we did reach Megalopolis. I was very excited about this. We also added forestry. I added a second pedestrian area. I got to buy all 25 tiles. That's what it would look like. And then the game crashed. But I shouldn't say that. It didn't crash. Everything just went haywire. While I was working on our forestry area, which is just to the left of this. Yep, bankruptcy. While I was working on forestry, the power was going off and then coming back on, and I didn't realize it. And then when I did notice it, I started plunking down like oil and wind farm. Then the water started doing the same thing. So I did one of those high things, clicking on water and electricity. Everything was connected. But the people kept saying they weren't getting water and they weren't getting power. So here I am spamming water and electricity, and my money was completely draining. And I wasn't on top of it. My fault. Absolutely my fault. But here's the thing. Why did this occur? Why all of a sudden is there no power? Why all of a sudden are they not getting water? And yes, it was all hooked up. I studied it very carefully. But a majority of my city was wiped out. And I lost money super rapidly. And as you can plainly tell, we went from having enough people to get Megalopolis to having hardly anybody at all. Now, some of it did grow back, but in this part of the video, I'm just going through and deleting what I could. But I have to remove everything that I added. All the fire, all the police, all the death care, the electricity, and the water. I started spamming it because I'm like, why are you... There's a graveyard right here and the people 5 doors down aren't getting serviced. Oh, again, I would say that it's partially my fault because I should have paid better attention, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, this isn't making any sense here. They have plenty of death care, they have plenty of garbage, they have plenty of electricity, and they have plenty of water. The fire departments, see, as you can plainly tell, everybody has an overabundance of everything, but nobody was getting serviced. Which put me into bankruptcy. So I had to go and undo everything that I had done and then hope that it would spring back. I took out all 3 loans to get this back up and running. But while I'm doing this and while I'm going through all this, as an example, and you'll see it later in the video, maybe I shouldn't mention it right away. About 2 days back, and I'm talking human days, my park just died. I went from having over 17,000 visitors a week to 0, and it never bounced back. All of my industry, and I'm talking the big industry, oil, ore, farming, I think that's all I had at the time because forestry is brand new. They kept telling me that they weren't getting their goods and they weren't getting customers to buy the goods. So I was spamming warehouses, and one was set to full, one was set to empty, one was set to balanced, all within their area, and the pop-ups continued. Everything just went haywire, and while I was trying in the back of my mind to figure out something's wrong, I need to figure this out, I was forging ahead, building new neighborhoods like this one. Like I said, I set up that other promenade area right in front of this one. That was supposed to be leisure. The area here is leisure, which I ended up including industry just so that I hoped they would get their goods. It was a mess. Maybe I shouldn't have forged ahead. Maybe I should have just stopped. There's our forestry. It ended up being 5 stars too. It only took a couple hours. But this new neighborhood here, this was not the problem. The problem occurred before I even put this up. And I was hoping upon hope that, I had over $7 million. I thought I was good, and that may have been like a lull in confidence. And that I had to pay the price. Regardless, the same pop-up issues continue to occur. Even with all the electricity, I have 2 nuclear power plants. I should only need 1 for a city this size. It just kept saying it was like rolling blackouts and rolling water outs. It would come on, it would go off. It would come on, it would go off. And while I was working in forestry, I just plunked the water thing down and I went back to forestry and I fixed things up, and that was a dumb thing to do, and I know that's why we ended up in bankruptcy. But losing all these people didn't help either. Now here's our park, and it's been like this for days. Kind of like when I plunked down the bus depot and the metro and it just starts breaking. This the same thing. It was working great and then it just wasn't anymore. And it is hooked up. I did take the main gate out and reinstall it so that I know it's lined up correctly, and that didn't help either. It was just... it was a calamitous event that I was not anticipating. But with the buses and metro and even the train itself works best, but it too will lose its line and then the line comes back. And then a couple minutes later the line goes off and then it comes back on. Not as often as metro and bus, but it does occur. So the whole time I'm like, there has to be a reason why this is occurring. And not having, the advanced brain for this game, I really don't have the wherewithal to know precisely where to go, fix the problem, and then move on. But this problem, there's no way, I have no idea how to fix what caused all this. Absolutely none. And I suppose, like everything else, I could go online and look it up. But I don't know how to reach the outside area without the 81 tiles mod, which I'm still afraid of. But that got me thinking maybe it is the 25 tiles mod. This whole area is brand new. And it's all industry on one. Well, from the left, oil, industry, offices, with some business thrown in because everybody kept saying no customers, no items. No customers, no items. I got 3 huge warehouses there I should have deleted to save money. I kept trying to fix the complaints, but I probably wasn't doing the right things. But this whole area was wiped out. Some of it did manage to come back by the time I got in here to delete the abandoned buildings. Some of them had come back, but the whole thing was dead at one point, abandoned. Oh man, I'm telling you. It's very, very, see? Not enough customers. Well, they have a way over here. I figured I would put commercial in with offices and industry because industry kept saying there weren't any buyers for their products. But it didn't help. That's not the problem. The problem is the game, and I hate to say that. I finally went over here because this was my suspicion all along. You can get out of my city, but you can't get in, and that is why traffic is way up to almost 90%. And this has probably been like this from practically the start. But how do you get here, and how do you fix it? I can't reach this area. This is outside of the 25 tiles. I mean, I can get there by camera, but I can't touch this. And why did it occur? And it occurred very early on in the game. And that is why, yeah, forestry's at level 5, yay. But that's why my bus lines and metro keep snapping. I don't know what to do about it. So I'm very sad to report that this city completely collapsed. I'm gonna keep trying, but I've got to figure this one out. There'll be a video tour of the city, and it's not gonna be a great one. So as we watch the blood red sunset go down on this city, I want to thank you very much for supporting me. I appreciate it. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're interested. Take very good care of yourselves. Have an absolutely fabulous day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.